GM friends, and welcome to zazoome. I'm Sheri Barbera, and today we are talking about NFT projects. What the heck are they? Let's get right into it. I know. Woo. Okay. What is an NFT project? Well, an NFT project is also known as a collection. It is an artistic idea, and I am focusing right now on art projects, NFT art projects and collections. So this is not going to be covering trading cards or any collectibles like that, or even gaming. This is basically all about what is an NFT art project. So it's an artistic idea with a goal. In other words, you want to do something. So maybe you want to sell your art directly, or maybe you need to grow a collector base, or you just simply want to make money as an artist. For example, here's one on the Rarible marketplace called Crips. Welcome to the official Crips collection. Each piece is unique and handcrafted by the original artist behind the Crips. So it gives you an idea of something, a little bit about the art. And then there are 572 followers, and Crips is not following anyone. So that's kind of interesting, because it does show you that just being on a marketplace already helps you get followers. And if you are a new artist to a marketplace, this is exactly what you want. 500 is more than nothing, right? So that's pretty fantastic. Oh, Sal has a question. Hold on. Let me just go to us. I'm gonna go to you. Go ahead.
All right. So you said you're only going to talk about art right now, but anything can be made into an art form. Anything can be made into an art NFT. Anything can be made into art, basically.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
True. Focusing on our NFT collections based on more art than gaming or collectibles or things like that. So yes, a trading card could be art. It could be trading pieces of art. Yes, that is true. That is true. So while we're here, let me just see who else is here. Rob is here. Hello, Rob Greenspan. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I love that you're here. Hello and good morning, Dale. Thank you for being here. And I love that you're using the lingo, GM friend. And Mr. Jubei, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad that you are all here, always. Now let's get back into the meat of what is an NFT project. So you can see that each one of these NFTs are original and different from each other, making it not a computer-generated project, right? Making it a one-of-one project. But look closely, and you'll see it's not exactly one of one, is it? So this says 11 of 20, 6 of 10, 19 of 20, 19 of 20, 18 of 30. What does that mean? It means it's a multiple of one. So this is more like when an artist creates a print and does multiple prints of the same print, each print having a unique ID. So a unique token ID, which is what it would be for a project. So let's keep going. Maybe you're just interested in testing the waters to see if your art is something that resonates with a lot of people. This is how you build a following and create a community. And then when you sell your art on a marketplace, this is something very, very new for artists. You can earn a royalty. Some artists even put as much as 10%. Well, what does that mean? It means that when you sell the art in your project on the resale market, the secondary market where people are reselling your artwork, you are able to make a percentage of the sale. And that is what is known as a royalty. And you can make it in perpetuity for as long as your collection, number one, is up. And number two, people are buying and selling. So every time it's sold again, you can make potentially whatever it is that you decide on your royalty, 2.5%, 5%, 7%, even as much as 10%. So it's really up to you. You can set that yourself. So that is sort of a very, very new thing. Another reason to be an artist on one of the marketplaces creating an NFT project, whether or not it is individual art like Roxy Dash, but look at this. You will find some of my sketch arts and digital art. GIMP tool I use, learning Blender these days to make animated NFTs, to add some toppings to my handmade sketches as well. So now this artist, Roxy Dash, is adding interesting digital art to her unique NFTs. But look at this. She has over 1,000 people following her. Again, this is the Rarible marketplace. And this is pretty amazing. So you can get quite a following. These are just examples of her art. These are drawings that she's done. This is digital art combined with drawings. So you can see there's a lot of stuff going on, and these are one of ones. And it does say here, one of one. So that's how you look to see, is it a multiple, or is it a one of one, or is it a whole project collection? Maybe you're an artist who wants to promote a cause. Maybe you want to raise money for a charity, or maybe you want to start a movement of your own. Right. This is something that you can do so cool, differently from in person, online with digital arts, with NFTs. Women Rise is a movement. That is what they call themselves. And what they say is they are celebrating and representing women scientists, activists, artists, coders, and more different types of women. Look at this. The highest sale was $90,400 for one NFT. The floor price is hugely high, starting for a unique piece of art that people don't even know about. $1,600 is the floor price, meaning it's the lowest price that you could ever have purchased one of these NFTs at. They have already sold 16.3 million NFTs. There are over 10,000 items in this project. So usually a 10K project, and that's what they're typically called, is anywhere from, it could even be 500 generated pieces of art to 10,000 pieces of art. But this is over 10,000, 10,100. And there's a reason for that. And I'm not going to go into that right now, but there is a reason for that. I can go into that in future projects. There are 5,700 owners. Look at this. Total volume in sales, 15.9 million. Market cap is not quite the same as what the total volume of sales is. I'm not going to get into that right now either, but it's something that you might want to research. So Women Rise is celebrating, representing women scientists, artists, activists, coders, and more. This project is a continuation of the work artist and creator Maliha Abidi has been doing in the traditional world. So you can read more about what that project means when you click on the read more. And then this is an example of what that collection looks like. Now, this looks very different from the previous collections that I've just shown you. Why? If you look at each one of the women, the actual shape of the figure is exactly the same. What changes? What changes is the color. What changes is the accessories. What changes is the hair. What changes is the clothing. What changes is the background. So you can see that there are so many reasons why this collection varies. Look at this, completely white background, completely different clothing choice, completely different skin coloring, eyes, headwear. Everything is changeable, and yet it is one design of a female in a bust shot from just the chest up to the top of the head. So this is how you create generative art projects, by creating one look and then a whole ton of accessories and backgrounds and skin colors and all kinds of things that are then generated into a project. It may also have utility, and we covered utility last week. We covered what makes utility for a project, for a piece of art, for an NFT. What makes utility? And for those of you that were here, please put it into the chat. What do you think makes utility? I'm going to be covering that in 1 second. And put it in the comments below, because we covered a ton of things that make utility. One of them is to have a combination, a bundled NFT, where you sell the digital version and at the same time, the buyer, the collector, receives the physical piece of art. And that's something that you can send through the mail, UPS or United States Postal Service or FedEx or DHL or whatever it is. They literally receive the physical piece of art.
So wait, so if
Yes.
you're talking about if you make a painting or a drawing,
Yes.
or, okay. But it would be a bad idea to make a NFT of your wife, because then you'd have to send your wife through the mail. All right, that's silly. I'm sorry. Go on.
So maybe it gives you access to an event. Maybe it's an in-person membership. So you are using an NFT as a redeemable token, right? It is a redeemable token, a ticket. It gives you access to something in the physical world. And maybe it gives you exclusive perks to something that have to do with whatever the project's about. So for example, Superlative Secret Society, I love that name. Superlative Secret Society, highest sale, $41,400. Superlative SS, Secret Society, are collectible NFTs, collectible. So first they want you to know that this is something that you should start collecting. In other words, spend money buying my stuff, okay? Collectible NFTs inspired by primary personality traits. Very, very clever, because most people like to say, well, I'm this, well, I'm this, well, I like this, well, this about me, and me. So wonderfully funny that they created a collection all around what is your personality all about. And so each card, these may be more like cards, like trading cards, though they are original pieces of art, each one of these is around a single personality trait. So this team has been built by a passionate team, powerful grassroots community. The project offers incredible utility and is dedicated to supporting the next generation of artists. And of course, I love that. So the floor price, very low, $292, accessible. So when I say very low, okay, it's not $20 or it's not $3, but relatively speaking, in the world of projects, $292 is a low floor price. Market cap, 3.2 million, 11,100 items. So here I'm saying a 10K project, generally speaking, is 10,000 items or fewer. No, a 10K project has become much more than that, right? So 11,100 items here with 6,000 owners. Total volume in sales is 19.7 million.
That means 6,000 people bought NFTs
Yes,
from this?
there are 6,000 owners of the Superlative Secret Society.
So 6,000
images.
people bought at what price?
Well, the floor price
Floor price.
is not necessarily what they bought at.
But that's what it started at.
But it started at $292, meaning if you multiply 6 times $292, that's the minimum amount of money that they made. Okay, the minimum amount of money. So, referring to our last comment, Rob said, Sal, I have a fold-out couch if Sheri doesn't appreciate your idea. You're funny.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, you got Sal's back. I like that. Okay, so what do they look like? Well, look at this. This is what the individual superlatives look like. One of one, one of one, one of one, one of one. So every single one of these is a unique piece of art, though it may have been generated to create 11,000 of them. How does that work? Well, what that means is that there have to be enough traits, enough individual separated layers if you're doing generative art that go into a computer software program. For example, an arrow, a circle, a neck piece, a head piece. There have to be enough of these individual pieces that you can say when you put in the program, every single one generated will be unique. And so the program has to say to you, okay, then you need to create X amount of individual properties, that's what they're called, properties, in order for me to generate for you as a software program, 11,000 different pieces. I think Sal's raising his hand.
I got it. Well, I got a question.
Are you raising your hand?
Well, I'm listening to you. And I was like, the program, is this a specific program that you use? Does everybody use the same exact program? Is it one program that generates the 10,000 NFTs?
There are more than, there is a fabulous program called Hashlips. Okay, that's one program. But there are other programs, and I am not covering that today.
I know.
I'm just covering what a project is. But yes.
The basics of it. And then you're not covering this either, but is there a minimum of components that you need to make a 10,000 piece project?
Yes, there are, and I am not covering that either right now, but yes, there are. See, there are so many videos for us to make for you guys, so many things to cover. I'll tell you, when I was doing the research for today's live stream, I think I went down the rabbit hole 12 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting. I love this world. I love NFTs. I just the art market is insane. It's so
a good way
interesting.
of putting it. You said I love this world because it is a whole new world.
It is a whole new world, and it's so much fun to. Thank you for that.
I had to do it.
It's so much fun to be able to look at so many different types of art and so many different contemporary artists.
People are coming up with more and more new ideas. It's really creative.
So
it's a
interesting.
Whole creative
yes,
realm.
And so if you do your own research and you go and you look at all these different marketplaces like Rarible, like OpenSea, like Foundation, like Mintable, you will start to see so many different interesting types of art, so many different combinations, so many exciting projects.
And you don't want to say, and I don't want to hear anybody say, I can't draw, I can't make an NFT, I can't do, because it's all subjective. I mean, it's all, everything is unique and singular, right, and their own piece.
And also, if you saw the video that I made on VEE Friends, Gary V's NFT utility project, which is utility creating tickets, redeemable tickets. That's what your token is, a redeemable ticket to go to VCon, his big giant event that is covering not just the NFT world, but all kinds of things. So if you look at his art, which I'm going to be showing you a little bit later in the slides, if you look at his art, tell me you have to be an artist. I mean, whose definition of artist is there?
Right, but you always talk about having your own niche. And this is the perfect example of what a niche is for.
Yes, because, I mean, if you look at the art behind us, each one of these pieces is so radically different from each other. And each one of them has their own artistic value, in my opinion, artistic value and why we like them.
Right.
And they're all completely different, and three different artists, one of them being me, and that's our dog Max that I painted. So yes, I mean, there are so many things that are different, and
it's
what makes a piece of art. So let's keep going, and I will show you what is considered art. And you know, really, it's just pretty fascinating. Okay, so Superlative Secret Society, you can, if you are on Rarible, this is what you can do. You can look at their sales history. You can look at the current average price, which right now is $354 for one. So it's already increased from the floor price.
Wow.
And then you can look at what their market cap is. The lowest listing was $257. Are there current transactions? No, but that's in the last 24 hours. See, you can change that from 24 hours to 30 days or whatever it is that you want to change it to. How many owners are there? Sellers, buyers, etc., etc. And you can look at all of this stuff and learn for yourself. Do your own research. So, questions. I mean, I know that Sal has asked me a number of questions already about this, but what are your questions?
I don't know what kind of questions I'm allowed to ask that aren't in future videos.
Well, it's okay. Anything you want. Okay,
well,
so
here, I have a question. So what about overhead? Can I ask about that?
Yes,
What's
but
the overhead for an NFT project?
Wait.
What?
Rob asked a question.
Oh, Rob.
Are you
Why does
suggesting...
Rob's question goes first? I just asked a question.
This is not a
but
question.
But he did offer me his couch, so go ahead.
Rob said, are you suggesting that beauty is in the eye of the beholder? Absolutely. And I'm not only saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I'm saying what's interesting, what is valuable, what has utility may be different for every person. Because just because I purchase an NFT of Gary V's tokens for his VCon doesn't mean I even want to go to VCon. I might just want to collect his art just because he's a celebrity and he's Gary V. I don't want to, but I'm saying you may want to. I mean, you might want to say to yourself, gee, I just like this art and I don't care about the utility of the token. So I do believe that every aspect of this is an individual decision on what is art, what is utility,
It's so much like the art world. It's so much people are buying it because they like it or love it, or they're buying it because they think it's a good investment for when they resell it.
Yes.
It's those two reasons.
Right.
I can't see any other reason.
It's love or money, right? It's love or money, because love...
And I love money.
Love can lead to... nobody else buys this NFT, so you'll never be able to resell it because there's no market for it, but you love it, you don't care.
Right. We bought art like that.
And we have bought art like that.
We knew that we weren't going to be able to resell it because the artist
is not well known.
But they could become well known.
Yes, but that wasn't the reason.
Some of them,
That's not the reason we buy. Right? That's not the reason we buy.
Exactly.
So some of the things that we buy are things that Sal was like, huh?
Right. But in this particular instance, we're literally saying chances are you're going to want to either resell it or you're going to want to,
HODL, HODL, hold on for dear life, because it's just going to go up in price. There's another word for you, HODL, HODL. And you may want to just buy something to HODL it, okay? HODLing. It is a thing. It's a big thing.
You're going to say HODL it?
HODL. Okay, let's go back to the slides. All right, so if you have any additional questions, put them in the comments below. What types of projects are out there right now? Basically, there are three. There's either original art, which is a one of one, but that can include multiples. There is a 10K project, but that can be anything from, 500 pieces, 300 pieces that are basically all the same with different traits about them. Or it can be as much as we've just seen 11,100 generated by a computer. Or it can be a combination of both. And we did just see that a previous artist said that she was now learning Blender so that she could add digital art to her hand-drawn art. So those are the three types. Let's take a look at one of one art or multiples. So here's an artist who has had 2 sales. And yet he sold $29,700 worth of art. He only has 5 items listed. His market cap, because he only has 2 owners, but they've paid so much money for his art, his market cap is quite high. And again, do your own research to understand what market cap means, but look at his floor price, $29,200. His highest sale being $14,800. So what they mean now is that the floor price for his most recent work is $29,700. So you can be any kind of artist. I mean, this is not something that most people would want. This actually is a video. So I just did a screenshot of it, but this is actually a video. These figures move and fly around the brain, and this is called Brain Hysteria. It's on sale for 18 ETH. You can see how much the price is. 38 people have come and looked at this and liked it, and yet he only has 2 buyers, and that's because his prices are high. Okay, so this is someone who seems to me is probably more well known in the physical world than the digital world. Here's an explanation of what it is, and you can read more about him. 8% royalties. So in other words, when he sells this piece of art, this NFT, this video NFT, if you go and look at it on Rarible, you will see it's a video NFT.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes, of course.
Just for the fun of it, real quickly,
Yes.
I typed into Google, just so when you're looking and Sheri says 18 ETH, I just typed in 18 ETH, and then it said 18 ETH to USD, to US dollars. And it just told
And
me,
it
just like
is.
that, $2,802.
So,
Am I right about that?
well, and ETH is $2,802. So it's 18
Oh, it's per
times.
ETH.
Yeah, so it's 18 times
Oh,
$2,802.
that's different.
And ETH changes, Ethereum changes like every 10 seconds. So it's not like whatever it says right now is what it's going to be at the end of the day either. So prices are constantly fluctuating.
Oh, it's $50,000. It says it right down
Yeah,
here.
$50,000.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. So more questions, and I'm going to take them right now, even though I typically wait until the end. It seems unlikely that a single piece of art would get noticed, but multiple items in the form of a project might garner followers and create value. Yes, that's true. And yet, even if you don't have a ton of followers on a marketplace yet, how many people do you need to make $29,000 in sales? You only need 2 if you're this artist. So sometimes it's not about volume of followers. Sometimes it's about
How much you make?
who the investor is.
Oh, I was
Who the
talking
in-
about money again.
No, it's how much
sorry.
money they're willing to spend.
Oh, right.
Right? Because you're talking about sales here. So thinking in terms of themes might be a good starting point. That is, okay, so that is such an excellent point, Rob, and I didn't even get to that yet, but truly, when you are an artist creating NFTs, what is your theme is so important. What is the reason that you are creating this collection is so important. Why? Does it resonate with a bunch of people? If it only resonates with a handful of people, what good is that for you as an artist unless your pieces are selling for, hundreds of thousands of dollars and you can afford to live off of 5 people? Right?
That's why when you said making a collection for a cause, let's say, is so huge.
Is huge.
Because how many people can that resonate with?
Yeah.
And obviously, whatever cause it is, you can adjust to whatever the amount of people.
Charities is a great reason if you're helping to fund different charities. If your cause is education, that's fantastic.
And to say a percentage of your sales goes to
X,
whatever,
Y, or Z.
which is a great. Because so what?
It's
with
huge.
this amount of money that people are making.
Right. So, and this is why projects are so important. Large projects are so important because you can raise so much more money with a large project. So what was that last question? Mr. Jubei, is there an average percentage that creators have been setting for residuals? Excellent question. The average will change because as more and more artists get into the understanding of setting royalties on your NFTs, the average will change. The average had been about 5%, but as you can see already, one artist was 10%, one artist was 8%. People are increasing the royalty base. Now, it's entirely up to you. You can think about it as auction houses. What do Christie's set it at? What do Sotheby's set it at? What does Phillips set it at as an auction house? For them, what percentage of the sale do they get? Because they, like the artist, make money off of a percentage of a sale. So typically they get about 10%. And as a cap on a royalty, that's pretty much where you want to put yourself. Now, if you're talking about IP, intellectual property, and you think of someone like Disney, what can they get as royalties on their intellectual property when it's resold as a mug or a shirt or whatever? They can get more. They can get 15%, but that's why you spend so much more on something that has Mickey Mouse on it. So great question. It really depends upon how much do you want to sell? How well known are you? There's so many factors. So that was a great question. All right. You can look at his sales history, the current average price, $14,832, the market cap, the lowest listing. Are there any current transactions in the last 24 hours? No, there are no sellers or buyers in the last 24 hours. You can learn so much about different artists, different projects, different collections. And as a buyer, do I want to invest in this person or this collection, or do I just love it and I don't care? As an artist, is it a good idea to make art like this, if that's what your art looks like, or is it better to do something that's more saleable, that's more out there for more people? You learn from what you look at. So this is why I want you to do your own research. So an artist original hand-drawn basis, but with generative art, is a combination that many artists are using because it allows them to create a complete 10K project, but still have their hands into what it originally looks like. And so, for example, Howlers. And I am going to go into Howlers in depth next week because I love this project. This is a 5K project. And if you look at the individual NFTs, you will see everything is based on this original hand-drawn wolf, WLF. That's what he calls them, wolf. Oh, and he says, oh, AWOO is his little tagline there. Oh, I love that. So here is his hand-drawn wolf. And then look, he already had started putting in the properties. That's what they're called, the properties, that will change what this basic design looks like in the project. And then it is generated by code. So he creates this original one. He does all of the individual properties and then generates the entire collection. And each one of them will have different properties. For example, a property is something like a background. And this one, the color is peach. And only 6% have this trait. So these are things that you enter when you list your NFT in your collection. So it is pretty darn involved. I'm not getting into that right this second, but it is very involved. When you upload an NFT project, you have to list every single one of these for every single NFT. So how does that work? Well, you do it in the software program. Okay, so you do it in the software program so that you don't have to hand do every single 10,000 of these or 5,000 or however many there are. Outfit is another one. Flower necklace, 3%. Eyes, goggles, 4% have this trait. Type, robot, 4% have this trait. Hat, beanie, 6% have this trait. So as you can start to understand what are the different properties, what makes them valuable is how many have that particular trait. So if it's only, let's say 1%, that makes it super rare. And rareness is important because it increases the value of the NFT that you're looking at. So when you look at a complete collection and you start to click on it and then you look at the different properties that it has, you will start to understand as a buyer, investor, collector, what is valuable. The lower the percentage, the more valuable it is. The higher the percentage, the less rare it will be, the harder it may be to resell it. Okay, the value of it may be less than other NFTs in the same collection. And then for an artist to learn about what you should be doing, now you can see, well, what is a property? Well, a property is a background or eyes or a hat or an outfit or a type. Standard red. 11% have this trait, standard red. And I'm believing that that means the head is standard red. So I didn't do another one of that, but type is robot on this one. So that means that the whole figure looks like a robot. So you as an artist will start to learn what do all of these properties actually mean for your own collection. And as a buyer, you are interested in properties primarily as a collector or an investor or a reseller because it makes a huge difference. As an artist, it's important for you to understand why are properties important, what makes properties better than others, and what should you be doing as the artist about properties. So if you have questions about them, put them in the chat or put them in the comments below, and we can get to them later. Hand-drawn and design. So here's an example of that. So that means it's kind of like a one-of-one, but maybe not really. The example I'm using here is VFriends because it is a art utility project. Look at the drawing. Grateful Gar. I mean, here's the drawing. This is just Gary V taking a marker and saying, okay, I think I'm going to draw this. And, maybe it took him 5 minutes. I don't know. But does it matter? No, because it's adorable and it's a representation of something. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like in his collection. And then they put that particular drawing in front of a bunch of different designed backgrounds. And none of the backgrounds are really of any interest, but they are more interesting to some people because this is a hologram, maybe this is pink bubbles, maybe, this is sparkly and looks like diamonds. So there are reasons for them to do that. And basically it is a utility token. You can see it's admission token. This particular one has a hologram for a background. It's a fish. That's the category, Grateful Gar. And then here is the token ID number. It is a one-of-one, but that doesn't mean that there were only one of them sold, because in this particular collection, there were 40 sold. And it is also not just an admission token, but it's an event admission token that is redeemable for a physical ticket, and it is a collectible. So you don't have to buy it as a token that's redeemable. You can simply buy it as a collectible to resell. And that's one of the things that makes this collection very interesting for you to think about doing for yourself. Hand-drawn and generative with utility. And that is basically what Gary V did, but also this little fun collection is completely hand-drawn and then cleaned up to look very graphically designed, and yet they are originals. So this is a collection and a project called Crypto Barista. There are 60 individual characters, and there were 455 of them minted, meaning sold. They have utility because they were created for a specific reason: to launch the first NFT funded cafe in New York City focused on digital art. So really, really cool idea, really, really cool collection with a purpose. Hand-drawn and generative. Here's an example of that. Women Rise. 453 hand-drawn properties. So the characters were originally drawn by hand, and then each individual property was drawn by hand. You can see all the different kinds of properties. But then they used a software program to randomly generate 10,000 altogether. Women Rise. So here are the different, they call them traits, but they are actually properties in the correct lingo. 125 backgrounds, 80 different types of clothing, 39 different types of skin, 24 makeup, 22 eyes. So this gives you an idea of when Sal said to me, do you have to have a certain number of properties in order to generate a 10,000?
A minimum. I asked the minimum.
Do you have to have
is there a minimum for the program to generate
Okay, so
a project of 10,000?
this generated 10,000, and look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 different basic properties, but within those basic properties, there are so many variations within the same property. So if a property is a background, there are 125 different backgrounds. If a property is skin color, there are 39 different skin colors. So, but look, there are only 7 badges. Out of 10,000, there are only 7 Badges.
Badges?
Badges. We don't need
right,
no
I'm not
stinking badges.
saying-
So you can see that there are certain properties, and they call them traits, that will become much more rare and much more valuable in a resale market. So you want to pay attention to that. What are those things? So
Do you think
Yeah.
people make the components that are most people would want the most, the least amount, so that they sell for a higher price?
I think so. In other words, like the 7 badges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why would that be only 7 badges?
Why would there only be 7
If
badges?
are they thinking in terms of, is there a reason for that? Are they trying to make more money with those?
I would say the 7 badges probably represent 7 specific things. So that would be important to the artist. 7 things important to the artist. I would think that the 7 badges also would be smart because it is going to make it much more rare and much more valuable. Yes. I would say that perhaps the 7 badges are maybe just the team members, just the
Right.
7 team members. I'm not sure because I didn't delve into what the
Right.
badges were. But you, as a collector, would be very intrigued to find
Well, that's what I was
something with a
wondering, if they were
badge.
making, a certain amount to make it more alluring
Yes.
to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
lack of a better word.
rareness, and it's called rarity in the NFT world, is huge. Hugely important, hugely beneficial financially, and huge because it gets more interest. It's so much more exciting when there's something rare. So, and think about that, because if you're doing a project that's a one-to-one project where you are just creating a unique piece of art, like this piece of art behind me is a unique piece of art, and it is a painting. So yes, there's only one of them. He never painted another one that looks exactly like this, and he never will. It's one piece of art. Is it rare? Yes. Is it hugely rare? Yes. Has it increased in value since we purchased it? More than, let's see, at this point it's increased 12 times in value since we purchased it. So yeah, things like that are incredibly valuable because they're rare. So is it good to do a one of one? Yes. Except if you're an unknown artist. Now, if you're an unknown artist, it's not as good to do a one of one, unless that's what you're going to just build your whole artistic project around, is only doing one of ones. You need to build a huge following, right? So if you want to build a following faster, generative art will build a following faster, because there is so much more for people to collect and to see and to think about and to get excited about and to want to own. So it's really up to you, but you need to think about all these things. So what kind of utility are they looking at? Well, donating to a fund, launching specific clubs, Rising Women, Activist Club. Very interesting that they are focused also on the utility aspects of the collection. This one is generative with utility. And for example, that would be something like, what would be, I'm going to go over to us. Generative with utility would be something like for a gamer. And as I said, I'm not showing examples of gamers today, but if you are a game like Axie, then you are creating NFTs that are used in play, or World of Freight, which I covered last week, World of Freight, where you are creating NFTs that are usable and redeemable in the game. And that is generative with utility. So that is generating some kind of thing.
They're
with
part
utility.
of the game. They're the game characters.
They can be characters.
They can be the components.
They can be components. They can be the...
anything in the game.
Yes.
So God, wow.
Anything
how many
within the
choices.
game.
Wow.
A lot of choices on that. So
Huh.
any collections, any questions, let's see, any questions about any of that, please put them in chat below, and I'm going to keep going. Okay. What to look for in a project. Buyers should look for these things. Do they have a website? Are they, now this is a word that I don't particularly like, but is used enormously in the NFT world, doxed. And what doxed means is, in the real world, it used to mean a stalker finding out where you live and your name and all that kind of stuff. So it had a very creepy meaning. Right, it had a creepy meaning. In the NFT world, It's completely different. It means don't be an anonymous creator. It means be a public creator so that people actually know what your collection, who created it, why they created it. It just makes it more valuable. And do you even have a team? If it's a big collection, do you have a team that will follow up with questions and all that kind of stuff? Is there a roadmap? Does this collection have a future reason that it was created? What is their roadmap? When is the drop date? When are they going to be actually launching the project? Is there a floor price? And is it affordable? Is it something that people are going to jump on and say, oh my gosh, this is so reasonable, I couldn't even imagine missing out on this? And then there will be a huge resale market for it. Which marketplace is the project going to be listed in? Because that is also very, very important, because there are open marketplaces which sell everything like OpenSea, and then there are marketplaces that you have to get into, like Foundation. You have to actually be accepted into, because it's a curated marketplace. So where are you gonna list? And then will it have utility? What will the value be besides just being an NFT? So for buyers, a great example is World of Women. They do have a website called World of Women, and they say right on the front here, a thriving community celebrating representation, inclusivity, and equal opportunities for all. And then they go in and they say, this is who we are. So it is doxed. And that's one of the things that you want to look for. Is it doxed? Yes, it is. So here's the woman who is the artist. Here is the team of creators. Not of creators. Here's the team that is behind the project that helps with the project. Here is their roadmap. And they call it sales milestones because they've already achieved so much. But here is their roadmap showing you exactly what happened, and then, what is the future? Well, the future is they give you all the key information, the drop date, floor price, marketplace. Everything is right here, and you can look at it on their website. So as a buyer, investor, collector, this is huge because you're learning so much. Which marketplace are they on? Find your favorites on OpenSea. So they're telling you this is where you can find us, but we're sold out. So if you want to buy us in the secondary market already, you can find us on OpenSea, and that's where you would want to go. This is all on their website. Then what makes them rare? And as I said, rarity is huge in NFT projects. So check on rarity using rarity.tools. Very good for you to take note of this, rarity.tools. So look at all the different properties. They call them traits, properties. There are 10,000 women, and then all of these different things they say about what makes them
Check me if I'm wrong,
rare.
but I looked up the amount of the cost of the ETH,
Yes.
and it came out to $197, and that might help because the price is actually low for these.
Oh no.
I mean, in comparison. What?
Oh no, they're not.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was way wrong.
Yeah.
Scratch that.
They're more.
I'll let Sheri do the figures.
They're more now.
I'll just.
So what is the utility or value of this project? Well, here they say, literally, what are the perks of ownership? You own the intellectual property. Now, as an artist, you need to decide, are your collectors going to own your actual IP, intellectual property, your art itself? Or are you going to keep the copyright on that art? And then they are not allowed to use it commercially. They are not allowed to make, prints of it, or they are not allowed to resell it or whatever. But here they say you own the underlying artwork and all of its intellectual property. In fact, here's a link to read the complete license of what you will be owning. They give you a ton of information about everything you want to know that has to do with utility or value. Okay, so this is all on their website, making it super easy. And finally, yes, the value is They are a movement, and that is what they call themselves, and that is what they want to be. So what did you find? You found, yes, they have a website. Yes, they are docs. They do have a roadmap, specific drop date, the floor price, the marketplace they're in, and the utility and value. You found all of that easily just by going to their website. So, wow. I mean, that just makes it obvious. I'm going to go to us. That it is so important as an artist to not just be an artist. You have to be a business person. You have to go beyond just being an artist, regardless of whether you're in the physical world or the digital world, the metaverse.
You have to promote your art, and you have to promote yourself.
And you have to promote yourself, and you have to make it easy for people to want to buy and collect and trade your art.
Right.
And they made it super simple. They are a perfect example of what you can do as an artist to blow up and make millions of dollars as an artist.
Well, that sounds good.
For your team, right?
Okay.
So question, Mr. Jubet, is there an average or base image dimension for 10K projects? Great question. Meaning, should it be like vertical or horizontal or square, whatever? Thank you. You're welcome. So that is such a great question, because when you're doing a project is based on what is the utility, in a sense, of the NFT. If the utility of the NFT is going to be prints, and they said, World of Women, that, yeah, as a matter of fact, one of the utilities, because that's not the only one of the utilities is that we are randomly going to be selecting 10 of our collectors and sending them a physical print of their NFT.
And that has a lot to do with the size.
And that has something to do with the size. So they say, yes, our NFTs are this particular size when they're printed out. And yes, you as the artist decide that. Is it an 8 by 10? Is it a 20 by 30? Is it, whatever size you want it to be? That is what the actual digital NFT is in size for the NFT JPEG or video or Giphy or whatever it is that the actual NFT is as the NFT created. So it can be a .jpeg, a .gif, GIF, or a .mp4 or whatever it is that it is. You decide the size of it, because videos can be 4K. Or videos can be 720p. So what is the size of it? Yeah, it does depend upon what is the utility of the NFT. Is there utility for the NFT? So much of this you decide as the artist. You decide as the team with the artist, or maybe you're just a team.
And you think about shippability, like how hard it is to ship a single,
and how much it costs to ship, and how much it costs to print.
How easy it is to ship.
All of these things are factors. So NFT projects, pretty complex. You can see that there are many, many things that you need to decide as the artist or the team that creates the collection. So many different aspects of it. As a collector, so many different things to think about. Is this project going to make money in the future? Should it be a hodl or should it be a trade? Should I be a whale and buy 50 of them? That's what a whale is considered in the NFT world, who comes in and buys up a huge amount.
A whale?
They're called whales.
There's a casino whale too.
Right, because they spend a ton of money.
Exactly.
And so do whales that buy NFTs. They spend a ton of money. So what is the purpose of you as a collector? Is it you as a collector who loves something and you're just buying it to hold it because you love it? Are you buying it for resale? Are you buying it for future resale? What is the purpose? So you have to decide all of these things. That was a great question. Thank you so much for that. What makes a successful NFT project to potentially invest in? Everything I just covered. Okay, that is really it. Everything I just covered. And there's two additional things that in the NFT world you want to think about. Is the project on Twitter? Because the whole NFT world is on Twitter. So is crypto and blockchain. They're all on Twitter. Do they have a Discord? And those two things, some of them use Telegram instead of Discord, but basically Twitter and Discord, do they also have a Twitter presence? How many followers do they have on there? Do they have a Discord? How many followers do they have on their Discord? And this really gives you an idea. Is this project blowing up? Are a lot of people excited and interested and willing to learn, invest, and talk about it? Or is it 3? Who do you want to invest in as a buyer? As an artist, you need to learn from all of this what you should and should not do. So that is the answer. If there are questions about that, put them in the comments, put them in the chat, whichever you prefer. What to research if you're the artist. So what should you be thinking about as a creator of a collection? What is your goal? What is your long-term goal? What's the roadmap for your collection? What do you want it to achieve? Will it be utility? Will it be value? Will it be something in the future for you? Is it just like a retirement plan for you? I mean, what is your goal for your collection? And as Rob said earlier, think about, do certain things matter and why? Well, yeah, they do. Does it have a theme? Should it have a theme? What is your goal for this? Who makes the art? And the reason that I say who makes the art is because some collections hire artists and don't make it themselves. It's a team of people and they hire an artist. That's what Curious Addie's collection did. And Curious Addies are these adorable little octopi, with all different kinds of things on them. They're really, really cute, but an artist was hired to create the artwork for them. So it is their collection and they own the rights to it and they are getting, the resale value on it, but yet they did not generate the art for it. They did not hand create the art for it. So that is one of the things that you want to find out and ask yourself, who's going to make the art? Then what is your time frame? For example, when I say time frame, do you want to get a collection up in a month? Do you want a collection up in a week? Do you want to get a collection up in 3 months? How detailed are you going to be? What are you going to do? Are you doing one of ones? Are you doing multiples? Are you doing a 10K project? Each one of these things will determine how long it takes to create and complete whatever it is that you're working on. And when you have followers, you don't want to say to them, oh, I'm going to be launching in 2 weeks. And then you get to, a week and 6 days and you're nowhere near launching. Who are you going to disappoint? Are they going to stay around? Do they care? Most of them will care. Most of them will be disappointed and they'll wonder why you can't live up to what you say you're going to do. But then there are many of them who are going to say, I don't care. If it's going to take you longer because you're doing something awesome, we're here for you. We're waiting for you. And that works when you're dripping out ideas about what you're doing, or you're dripping out figures or whatever it is that you're creating so that people are staying on board. You have to be realistic about how much can you do, how much can get done. Do you have a team or is it all just you? Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Okay, keep going. Marketplace. Where are you going to launch this project? Because that is also going to be a huge determinant of whether or not it's super easy for people to follow you. And when I say that, I'm going to go over to us. When I say that, what I mean is that if you're on a marketplace like OpenSea, which has, or Nifty Gateway, which has, tons and tons and tons and tons of people on it on a daily basis, what are the odds that they'll find you if they're looking for a certain kind of art?
So those are the first ones that people go to look for an NFT, but how do they find the other ones?
Well, you mean how do they find like Rarible and Foundation and things like that?
Yeah.
A lot of it is, you mean as a buyer or do you mean as an artist?
As a buyer, say, well, yeah, because you want, like anything else in social media, how do people find you? So how do people find you on those sites?
So Google is like the first place to check. Any search engine is the first place to check, but of course Google, being the base one, is the first place to check. And what you would want to type in is the different types of projects or collections that you're looking for. So maybe you're looking for specifically the top 10 gaming NFT projects. Or maybe you're looking for your camera's moving. Maybe you're looking for the
With my knee.
I know.
Oh, look, I did it again.
Maybe you're looking for a certain kind of art, so you want to type that in. Or maybe you're looking for NFTs with utility. Maybe you want to look for the top 10 NFTs with utility. You type into Google whatever it is that you're looking for, and believe me, it will come up. It will come up. And this is where you start your research. So do your own research and see what it's all about. And then it will say, oh, well, on this marketplace, you will find this collection, this project, on this marketplace. And then you'll start to learn about the marketplaces. It is very involved. There is a ton to learn. And this is why it is a good idea to take a course or a boot camp like we're having. Because you get a ton of information in a finite period of time instead of having to learn it all randomly and take hours and hours and hours by yourself. Collectively, you can learn much, much quicker when you take a course or a boot camp or a workshop. And that is the reason to do something like that. So, toot my own horn, of course. What is the floor price going to be? How much are you going to sell your artwork for? We just saw that there's an artist who is selling his pieces for $14,000 and only has 2 collectors, right? But then there are artists that are selling for $292. They're NFTs. So what is going to sell more? Well, $292 is going to sell a whole lot more than $14,000. And then finally, what is the utility? What is the value that you are offering people with your NFTs as an artist? Keeping in mind that if you add utility, it does add more value. People want it more. So definitely that is something that you want. Okay, to recap very quickly. NFT Project is an artistic idea with a goal. It might have utility. The types of projects are one-of-one art projects, which may also include multiples, a 10K project, which may be more than 10K, or a combination of the two. Are there questions on that? Let's see. Rob said, does anyone offer a boot camp? Oh, Rob, thank you for asking. Let's just see. Does anyone offer a boot camp? Well, I do. Okay, let's remember, just before I get to that. Thank you for asking that, Rob. And yes, I offer a boot camp. Buyers, do your own research. DYOR, do your own research, because no matter what you learn from someone else, everything changes on a constant basis in this world. So what may be true today may not be true tomorrow. It may have changed somehow. So buyers, invest in things you love, because you may end up hodling it, not wanting to be a hodler, okay? Don't risk, and I say risk, because it is a risk. Nothing is certain, okay? It is a risk. So don't risk more than you can afford to lose, ever. It's just crazy. Even if you think, oh my God, this is such a great investment because so many people are doing it, don't do it if you can't afford it. Creators, artists, creators, maybe teams, research your market, RYM, research your own market. Make projects that you love, because if you get stuck not selling anything, you got a ton of art here that you love anyway, so who cares, right? So make things you love. Always don't take on more than you can do. Try to be realistic about timeframes. If you're going to do a 10K project, can you actually do it in the time frame you say you can? If, in fact, you need 3 times more time, give yourself 3 times more time. No one is going to fault you for that, but they may fault you if it's less. So bootcamp, here you go, Rob. Bootcamp, sign up for the NFT Bootcamp. It is a 5-day bootcamp. The link is in the description below this video. It is running this particular one because there will be boot camps throughout the year. March 14th through 18th this year, 2022. It is a 5-day boot camp, and the link below will give you the details of what you will learn every single day and what you will be doing. But just know that at the end of the boot camp, what is going to happen that's so awesome is you are going to end up with an NFT on the marketplace to sell. So that is really cool. Even if you only want to be a collector, this will give you insight into how it works. So the NFT Bootcamp is all about what are NFTs, what is crypto and the blockchain, how do you set up a wallet, how do you fund your wallet, how do you create an NFT, what marketplace should you be in, how to set up yourself in the marketplace. create an NFT, and then finally list it to sell. So pretty awesome that you get to do all of that in 5 days. Pretty amazing. Okay, that's what the NFT Bootcamp is for. That's why it's a bootcamp, because it's intense training in 5 days. And what am I going to do next? Well, I'm going to focus on a different type of NFT. When I talked about IP, intellectual property, and copyrights, you want to decide for your NFT project, what do you as the creator or the buyer think is important about the NFT utility value? And there is something called a CC0 project. So cool. And I'm covering CC0 projects next time, because I am like so impressed by this, and it's such a smart, incredibly clever way to create a project. It's mind-blowing. You will just love this. So if you're here for the first time, thank you so much for being here. Subscribe to our channel, because that's awesome. Like this video if you haven't liked it already, because I love those likes. You know I do. And as always, get inspired with NFTs, crypto, and the blockchain, because that is truly what it's all about. So roll on over to me, honey. And we are going to say thank you guys so much, as always, for being here. We appreciate you. We love that you are here. And if you have any additional questions, put them in the comments below, and we will be happy to answer them. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.
Toodles.